And I believe we are live now.
I think you're right. I think you are right, Evie.
Oh, this hit and miss thing is like quite exciting every week.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, great to be here, Evie. Great to be with you as always.
You too, Yvonne. It's really great. So, what are we talking about today then? I'm trying to get this thing on my screen and I can't. I'm really sorry. Okay.
Oh, don't apologize. So what we are talking about, for anyone who's joining us live, first of all, welcome. Great to have you here. If you're watching this on replay, then thank you so much for taking the time. Here at Permission to Thrive Live, what we're doing is really talking about, we're myth busting. I mean, we're just looking at all of the phrases, the narratives, the stories that we use and that drive so much of what we do or don't do in our lives. More often than not, I was going to say consciously or unconsciously, but generally unconsciously, and that's why it's happening. And then we wonder why we're not getting to where we want to get to. We're wondering why we feel like, you know, I can see where I want to be, but I haven't got what it takes to get there. And it's a lot of these stories that have just become part and parcel of how we show up in the world. And this week, we're going to look at the perfection illusion.
Indeed. With this, as you have seen from the beginning, we are like, I think we have thrown perfection out the window.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing I can say is that I don't think I've ever been a perfectionist. I don't think I've ever strived to be. I've always been, you know, I will do my best, and that's my lot, you know, hey ho. So which has made it really easy to draw a line under things. However, and I know that you all have experienced exactly the same, Evie, the amount of conversations that I have with clients, with friends, and the word perfect comes up so much. And I'm always interested to kind of unpack that. I'm really curious to know, why has that become such a thing, even for people who I know don't necessarily operate like perfectionists? In their language, it still shows up. So that goes to show that level of ingrainment that comes, whether that's from school, whether it's from parents expecting, demanding certain things, whether it's the self pressure also. But anyway, Evie, if you want to kick off, what's the first phrase that we're looking at, and what say ye?
I believe that I have said that as well. It's like it has to be perfect. And I've said that maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. when I started thinking about, you know, like social media and all these things that we are exposed or exposing ourselves to. I think that's when you realize how much attached you are to this perfection thing. A lot of people might say, oh, I'm not a perfectionist. But when it comes to, you know, what other people think, then you might realize that you are more than you think. And that's where I came across this. But it took me a while to realize that you know, the being camera shy that I was telling myself was actually not that. It was like, how do I appear? What do other people think? Am I saying the right things? Oh, you know, listen to my accent. My goodness me, blah, 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 you know? So it is a lot of things to uncover, and many things to say about this phrase. And of course, being a controller and hyperachiever at the same time myself, I understand now why that was so important to me and how much time I have, I say wasted, but you know, I don't want to say wasted, but I know I could have done many things much faster if I was not holding on to those notions of perfection. And it is, I think, something that many people will relate to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also, it comes together with comparing yourself, because you know, everybody else does it so perfectly. Look at me.
Yes.
I'm not.
Absolutely. I agree. And actually, when you were saying that thing about, especially if you're doing work online, and so you are exposing yourself, here you are in front, you don't know who's watching, who's not watching, you know, what are they thinking, what aren't they thinking, am I making sense, aren't I making sense, all of that kind of stuff. And actually, even if you're not using the word perfect, it's almost like that's what you're chasing, like, because I need to say the right thing, and they need to, I need them to understand, and actually getting to a place where you can allow yourself to breathe and just say, you know what, if I say something and somebody doesn't understand, they can ask me, right? Why am I putting all this pressure on myself? And actually, if I say something and it's incorrect, I can apologize if it's something that requires an apology, or I can just move on. So, but there is this kind of like mounting need to tick all the boxes and cross all the T's and to dot all the I's. And quite often it's because we've seen other people do it and we think that they're doing it so brilliantly. What we're not seeing is that, well, either they are just naturally gifted and they are brilliant at it and that just comes to them, or they have a team doing stuff for them to make that happen. We don't see that back story piece. And so it's almost like, well, if I can't be as polished and as perfect as they are, perhaps I shouldn't be doing this thing. I think for me, the difference has been that I'm not camera shy. Do I love hearing my voice and seeing myself? Oh, no, I'm not in love with that whole thing, but it doesn't bother me either. You know, I can get out of my own way and hopefully make sense most of the time.
I love what you said about getting out of your own way, because that's what we constantly do, don't we? We are the ones that are like putting the barriers, and stop ourselves from getting out there, from doing the things that we want to do. And it doesn't have to be on social media. Okay, fine, we're happen to be here, but our audience, our people, the people that we work with don't necessarily do the work that we do, and they still have this type of narratives playing in their heads. And it could be that they are in a position at work that they need to, or they think they need to be perfect, or they are in a relationship and they need to be to say something in a perfect way so it doesn't backfire or it doesn't whatever. And again, what happens is that we're using those scenarios in our heads without really validating them by really, knowing exactly what the other person, or in reality, what the other person or the team or whatever is going to react to this. We are only playing this in our heads, and we forget to ask, is this true? And I will keep saying that in every myth busting thing that we are doing, because this is the question: is this true, or is it something that I'm just keep generating in my head to keep me small, to keep me procrastinating and not moving forward?
Yeah, and it's interesting that you use that word procrastinating, because perfectionists tend to end up procrastinating. There's nothing, and there's no laziness tied to this. It's just procrastination, because the perfect outcome must be achieved, and I need to find the way. And until I find the way, I won't do this thing. And so what happens? You put it off, you put it off, you put it off, still looking for the other pieces that are missing. This could be a lifetime's work. It's just like there has to come a time where it's like, actually, I'm going to put the best of what I have out there. I can go back and tweak it and change it and do other things to it. I have to start somewhere. And I had this conversation with somebody a couple of weeks ago who is a self-proclaimed perfectionist. And I said, look, I said, look out in the world. And even if you look at Apple, I don't know, whatever big names you want to pull out of the hat, how often do they release products that are not perfect? They're not perfect. They've got more glitches in them than they've got things working in them. Some
We can you hear me, Yvonne? We got cut off here. There is a problem. Is there a problem with the Wi-Fi? We just sorry if we're still live streaming, I believe, but there was a problem with the connection from Yvonne's side, it seems. So, okay, maybe we have Yvonne back now. Okay, hi Yvonne, sorry. I cannot hear you, you're muted.
there we go. Now we're good. Oh my goodness.
Fantastic.
So as you can see, no perfection here, not a problem.
No.
But yes, so as I was saying, is that when we look at all of these amazing companies who put loads of products out into the market, very rarely are they perfect. There's glitches in all sorts of things that they iron out as they go. It's like customers start complaining about something, they go back and they rework it, they figure it out. Now, I'm not saying we necessarily want to put loads of stuff out there with loads of glitches, but what we need to understand is that we will always have the opportunity to tidy stuff up. And that better to put something out there and get started than to forever in the background be working on something, hoping it will be perfect one of these days, and then get it out there, you know, because by then, guess what? The people who would have been interested have probably gone somewhere else. They've probably found something else. And actually, even now, as I think back, when I was creating my Launching Women into Business program, that became one of those things. I mean, it became a bit of a giant also, but it became one of those things. It's like I needed everything to be right. So, you know, even, yes, now I can say I did get caught in the perfection loop because everything needed to be set up. And then I realized that what was I doing? All I needed to do is just phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Yeah.
Yeah, and for somebody that has seen the back of that, the back office of that, I think it would have been an amazing product to put out there, and it would benefit so many women at that time. That was about 10 years ago, wasn't it, that we were discussing that was or even more. So yeah, definitely. So the thing is that nobody benefits by just holding back, and immaterial of where this holding back is, even if it is in relationships or in at work or for your health or whatever. I mean, it's better if you just go forward, see what's what, and see what needs to change, if anything needs to change, or fail fast if you just have to fail. And then we are going to the next phrase, I suppose, that says mistakes are failure. And the reason why I jumped on that so quickly is that I just want to say one thing, because I didn't mention the word fail earlier. Failure is what you want it to be. Like anything else in life, the meaning is with you, not with what everybody else thinks or whatever. You give it the meaning you want.
Yes.
And
yes.
If you want to give failure the meaning of that's it, I haven't managed to do something and I am not going to move forward because of that, then okay. But you can't give failure another meaning. You can call failure a stepping stone. You can call failure an eye-opener. You can call failure whatever, you know, anything that works with you, that makes it feel that it is the beginning of something rather than the end. What do you think, Yvonne?
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. Mistakes are failures. Mistakes are mistakes. If we didn't make mistakes, how would we learn? Like, you know, so I'm a great believer. I have no issues with making mistakes, because every time I make a mistake, I have the opportunity to learn. Whether I take the opportunity is down to me, but I have the opportunity to learn. Well, that and that didn't work, so maybe I'll try that and that, or, you know, maybe I need to go in a different direction, or maybe I need to ask for help. It's a prompt. For me, it's just a prompt to take a look at what's happening, and what do I need? What do I need to resolve it? And I just feel that when people get caught in that mistakes are failure, it is such an energy drainer, and it is something that just demeans who you are. It's like, you are gifted with so much potential you don't even know. You'll be lucky if you get to explore most of it in your lifetime. That's how much there is. And so the mistakes that are made are for your growth. They are an opportunity for you to perhaps broaden your perspective and look at things through a different lens. And if you struggle with that, get somebody else who comes with a different perspective to look at it and give you that fresh perspective, you know. And this is why, like, for me, I love being in situations where there are people who look at things very differently, because all the while I'm just like, wow, oh my goodness, I wouldn't even have gone there. How fantastic. Broaden that perspective. Mistakes are what they are. They're just mistakes. We make life mistakes. Sometimes they are huge. Sometimes they are painful. They can be a lot of things. But underneath them all is the opportunity to learn to do something differently, do something better, be a better person, be a better human, whatever that thing is. Underneath it all, I think that that's where it lies, you know. And I say this, somebody had posted something last week about somebody who had made an error in their life. This was a life situation, and, you know, felt like a failure, was being treated like a failure by certain other people, and all of that kind of really dark energy. And it's just like, you messed up. Own it. Know what you could do better and differently going forward, and go do that. We all have another day to be a better human being than the one we were yesterday.
Oh my God, this is so powerful. This is really, really powerful. And it is a message for not only, you know, people in our line of work, but anyone. Because you see people going down that dark rabbit hole all the time, and they don't see any way out. And it's only a matter of giving yourself a little bit of time, space, and grace, and say, okay, I am, you know, I messed up, as you said. I just, if I could revisit this, I would have done it differently. But you do have another day. Do something differently, and you know, like, get the energy that you need to bring you up rather than to bring you down. And no matter what you're doing in life, even like convicted criminals, they get eventually some sort of, you know, time to get rehabilitated, to do something differently, and to really push themselves. So why would you just stay in that negative state just because you made a mistake? And I'm not talking about small mistakes here. We're talking about major mistakes.
Major mistakes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And the other part of, you know, point me out a human being who hasn't made a mistake. Because I always find this interesting when people get get kind of caught up with pointing out other people's mistakes. I'm like, so are you pointing them out because you've never made a mistake, or are you just pointing them out because you're pointing them out? There's a difference also. So as humans, again, being better humans, we need to be aware when, if we see mistakes in others, that we don't bash them for it, that actually give them some grace, give them an opportunity to do things differently, because I would want that for me, for the many, many, many mistakes I've made in my lifetime, and probably will make some more. So, just be kinder, I think, for me, comes with that. And actually, the kinder we are, the less people get caught up in some of this stuff, some of this messaging that has probably been poured into them, since year dot. They don't need any more. They don't need more of that, actually. They need to see some light. And I believe that that's our, I take that as a responsibility in my work.
Absolutely.
Like 100% to get people, to take people to the light, and actually not smother them in more darkness, because we've got enough of that in the world already. Thank you very much indeed. And, and I think there's this, what I wanted to, coming back to that first phrase also, it has to be perfect, is understanding, strive for excellence by all means, but not perfection, because they are two very different things. Be excellent in the things that you do. Take them seriously so that you can, seriously enough so that you can deliver them with impact and all of that good stuff. But perfection, everything has to be just so, because it'll never be just so. Because when you get to just so, you'll find other reasons that it needs to be another level of just so.
100%. I mean, that is definitely a great message to share. And yeah, I completely agree. We all have made mistakes. We are going to make some more. And that's the beauty of being human. That's the beauty of learning. Because I always go back when somebody talks to me about their imperfections or their mistakes, back to the toddler that, falls like 1,000 times before they can stand on their feet and they can walk. And yes, that is the energy we need when we are creating things. That the energy of the toddler that falls, and the only time that they cry really is when they want to see if that is going to have any type of impact around, rather than, if they're on their own, they usually you notice them, they stand up and they continue, and that's what happens. So let's take some lessons from our toddlers, or the toddlers around in our lives.
Yeah, and actually, as you said that, I was thinking, that as a toddler learning to walk, getting up, falling down, getting up, falling down, getting up, that is called growth. They are growing into being the toddler that they are. When we make mistakes, when we fall down, it is growth. It is just pick yourself up, brush yourself off, come back again. You may want to go in another way. You may need to do it the same way again, whatever it is. But, don't get caught in that trap of thinking, well, this is going to be me for the rest of the time. I'm never going to get things right. All of that outpouring of not enoughness, not able, when you are more than able. You are more than able. And I just want to pour that statement into you. You are more than able. I'm pouring that out there because we need to be open to accepting that. Underneath all of that messaging, that actually, yeah, I can see where I've potentially been getting in my own way, what I've been telling myself, the stories I've been repeating from wherever. And actually, I want to believe, and I want to get to that place when I know that I am more than capable and I am more than enough. And let's start from there.
100%. I mean, and also remember, you might not be saying this particular phrase that we're unpacking here, but if there is anything that resonates, that brings you back to perfection, probably that is something you need to consider and see if it is true or not.
Absolutely. And it could be like working on something. Like I said, like when I was doing the Launching Women into Business, I didn't actually even tie that in until we started talking, and suddenly thought, well, that was probably what I was doing, because it just was like, no, but then I need to add this bit. Oh, and then I need to add this, and then I need to add this. I mean, my goodness gracious me, if I kept on adding, this program would have lasted for about 10 years. Ridiculous. I mean, absolutely bonkers. So we need to be aware, because this is the trap that we really easily fall into. And it is a trap, because once we're in it, it's really hard unless we've got good people around us who can see it and who will help us and guide us back out, to get just stuck in there. And just know that it's okay. It's okay for me to make mistakes. Nothing has to be perfect. And even if something needs to be spot on, you know, like top level of excellence, how much of the things that you do really need to be there? I know in positive intelligence, we talk about like the 80-20, you know, 20% may need like your absolute top energy input. The other 80%, not so much. So stop trying to spread that energy across the 100%, because it will drain you way before you've achieved the things that you want to achieve.
100%. And the one other thing that just tying it into positive intelligence here, because this morning I was listening to the app, and the one thing that it says about, like, think forward. When something happens that really upsets you or bothers you, or you're not sure, ask your wiser self. Ask, how important would that be in a month from now, in a year from now, in 10 years from now? And you will get your answer. So
yeah,
better take the decision, or better do the thing that you want to do, and don't overthink it, because you know, it's like what matters later.
Absolutely.
What matters now is important.
I love that, and I love that you mentioned that, because I've been listening to it too this morning, and it is about the sage wisdom. And actually, whenever I pose that question to myself, it never ceases to amaze me how many times I just like, well, it doesn't really matter at all. Okay, so we don't need to spend any more time on that. And it's just in that immediate question that I can just let something go. It's just like, okay, we're done here, moving on. That is such an important place to go. Your older, wiser self will guide you to the things that will really matter, the stuff that's got the big impact stuff, where at the end of your life you'll feel grateful, proud, happy, joyful that you did those things. And the other stuff was just like, okay, it was, you know, it may have been nice to do, but it didn't have any major impacts, nor was it necessarily meant to have. And really kind of get to that place. I think that's really important. So yeah, good point. Nicely said, Evie.
Fabulous. Fantastic. So we're almost on the hour, and I think that we're going to sign off. Wrap this up. Yeah.
We're going to sign off. As always, we invite comments, thoughts, questions when the video is live. Please post underneath. Reach out to us in DMs, whatever. You know, we are here to embrace all of those conversations. Here at Permission to Thrive, we're all about rewriting, helping you to rewrite your story.
With grace, not grind, right?
Absolutely. So with that, have a beautiful and blessed week ahead, and we look forward to seeing you next Thursday. Evie, thank you as always.
Thank you, Yvonne. It's been a pleasure spending this time with you here every Thursday. Bye, everyone.
Bye.